Hi, my loves. Welcome back to the Starscartel channel. If you don't know, I am Star. The message I heard is settlers. The scripture comes from Ecclesiastes 1 and 5. The sun rises and the sun sets and hurries back to where it rises. God said for somebody, if you decide that you're going to settle, you may very well find yourself right back where you started. If you decide to settle, you may very well find yourself back where you started. Now, for some of you, this is going to go over your head because you don't know what or who or why God is talking about. And if the message ain't for you, don't try to force it to fit. But there are some of you, the message is for you, and you're going to be confused because you are your ways, because our ways are not God's ways. So I just feel like the person that you like, the kind of principles for if you are waiting on God to send you someone, or you're dealing with someone and you're wanting confirmation on if they are the one or not. God said, if you were to think about his principles and not just your principles, you would be able to realize if somebody was sent by him or not. And it's not to say, there's certain things, everybody got their good and their bad. And I'm not saying that nobody has to be perfect. But what I am saying is that this is going to be somebody that at least acknowledges God. At the very least. At least acknowledge God. At least acknowledge God. At least have some understanding of who God is. Now, if they quoting scriptures, that's an extra check. If you know what I'm saying, they go to church regularly, extra check. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like God is saying, like, come on now, use common sense. But somebody that literally walks, you know what I'm saying, on demon time all day long, you know what I'm saying? No. Someone that you can tell the difference. Even if somebody is living a certain kind of lifestyle, you can tell the difference between somebody that have a kind heart and somebody that's pure evil. A pure evil person start fights and arguments with any and everybody for no reason. They don't even have a reason to be fighting. They just fight. Somebody that have a pure heart is not just fighting with anybody for no reason. They may fight if they push, if somebody is messing with them, if somebody is picking on them, if somebody think they about to bully them, then yes, they will drag them. But in reality, this is somebody that is very kind. They are always smiling. They're always being generous. This is somebody that's giving off love. It's a difference. And they both could very well have the same job profession. I had two nurses when I was in a hospital, one of which was kind, sweet, and gentle, and the other one was a mean girl in scrubs. And I'm just being real. And you know what I'm saying? Some people would be like, Star, why are you saying that about her? I'll tell you why. Because I went hours without any medicine directly after having surgery on my ankle because she refused to turn on my IV and kept on trying to act like she couldn't do it and she couldn't this and she couldn't that. I was in absolute agony for a long time, for a long period of time. And eventually I cried out to God. God, touched me and I was able to go to sleep. True story. I was in pain. I was screaming. And you know what I'm saying? I realize now that that's the kind of situation. Some of y'all, you don't realize that you had people around you now that there were low points in your life and they took glee in it. They felt like it was good that happened to you. They feel like it's a good thing that you went through that. That is wicked. That is evil. It don't matter what you did to somebody. And nobody should actually want to see someone else hurting. Nobody should actually want to see somebody else going through it, even if they did you wrong. And that's just what it is. I feel like a lot of people get confused. Jesus said, if somebody hits you, turn the other cheek. It's just kind of like, why even keep on getting into it with this person? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's even just, why keep entertaining the hate? Why keep lifting it up and dragging it on? It's okay to put it down. It's just like the hate is that they started when they came after you. It carries on because now you after them. And then they go after you and you after them. And it's like y'all just throwing a ball back and forth. It's okay to just sit the ball down and walk away. Because one thing that I realize when I get into it with people, I get very heated. I get very angry. My blood pressure is boiling. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. And you know what I'm saying? Especially, I'm not finna deal with it, especially with somebody that's the kind of person to try to make it seem like I'm at fault and everything I do is just wrong. And I'm the one that did this and I'm the one that did that. Or if it's a situation where it's somebody where they just gonna be like, oh, well, because they are such and such, they, no. You know what I'm saying? No, we're not finna do that. Regardless, because I've known such and such longer than I've known you, I refuse to believe, no, we don't have time for that. Anywho, God said, don't settle. Don't settle. Do not settle. Do not settle in relationships. Do not settle with relationship boundaries. Do not settle when it comes to where you're going to live. Okay? Make sure that's where you want to live first. It's always a good idea before moving somewhere, regardless if you're moving to a new city or a new town, or if you know what I'm saying, whatever it is, to go and check it out first. Go check it out first. Even if you just check it out for a few days, check it out first and see if you really want to live there. And I just feel like God has said, don't just settle and don't just, snatch whatever comes up first. Because sometimes what comes up first might be exactly what is for you, and you could reject it and go to something that's not good. But at the same time, some of y'all, what comes up first could look like it's perfect, but in actuality, it is not. It is like, I'm being reminded of years ago, I used to stay all the way ducked off, and I was told the reason is because of the friends that I used to have that would just randomly come and tap on my door. And you know what I'm saying? And that was like, nah, we not finna do that. We not finna have your homies coming and popping up over here. And I get that. And for some of y'all, that might be a thing. See, from your perspective, you want to stay close just in case you want to call such and such over, and you go over there and you doing this, all these things. Like when you got a fast-paced life and when your life is moving like that, it's no problem. But when you want to slow down a little bit, like when I had my son, and you want to slow down, you want to be on the outskirts, you don't want to be all up in the mix. But I feel like for whoever this is for, it could be that. It could simultaneously be a situation where somebody is always trying to be up in your mix. And if you got somebody that's always trying to be up in your mix, and you stay right around the corner from them, baby, guess what they doing? All up in your mix, randomly popping up, randomly stopping by, asking people about you. Yeah, some people, they won't say nothing to you directly. Won't talk to you for months, won't talk to you for years. But they'll be talking to other people around you. They didn't got access to your neighbors, so they done found them on Facebook. And they done went to the apartment manager and they started typing to them. And they done went to this person and they talking to them about this, that. Like basically, it's like they going around to everybody but you. You don't know what's going on. And now all of a sudden, all these people hate you. And you like, what in the world is going on here? God said, don't settle. Sometimes it's too good to be true. Sometimes it really is too good to be true. Sometimes it really is. Sometimes it's a situation where you're thinking, oh, this would be the perfect little this, that, and the third. This would be the perfect little house, and this would be the perfect little apartment. And you don't realize that your neighbors are like roosters, and they get up at 6 a.m. every single morning and jump on top of they trampoline and scream to the mountaintops. You didn't even know that. You didn't even realize it. And now you done bought the house, moved in, and every single morning You gotta listen to this clown. That is so silly, baby. I'm pretty sure it happens. Okay. You gotta listen to this clown. Climb up on top of the trampoline, beat on his chest, and scream and holler at the sun. Baby, God said you gotta check some things out first. Don't just settle, okay? Don't just be accepting anything. You know what I'm saying? Don't just be going with the flow of anything. God said you gotta check some things out first. If you dating, make sure you want to be with that person before you decide to go ahead and get the gavel and make it permanent. Don't just be, you know what I'm saying? Just be, accepting it and just being like, well, I'm gonna let that slide. 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 And now you didn't let more things slide than the things that you were wanting to accept. They ain't even doing that stuff. They just doing a bunch of bad stuff that you have allowed to let them slide with. Meanwhile, they are wreaking havoc in every other part of your life. Baby, God said, don't settle. Do not settle. Do not settle. Do not settle. Do not settle for nobody that's going to be having your stress levels up, because it is a thing. You don't settle for nobody that's going to be like making you feel frustrated. Don't settle for somebody that's not going to treat you right. Don't settle for somebody that ain't going to, help out. Don't settle for these things. And I do understand that there are some things like, don't settle for somebody that's going to cheat for somebody. And there are some things that are literally inevitable. There are some things that you could not possibly know was going to happen before it happened, and they still happen, and now you don't know what to do. But God said, don't settle. The moment something arises, take action. Regardless if the action that you take is you getting yourself prepared so that you can move forward, or if the action that you take is finding another job on your off days, whatever the action you take is. God said, don't settle. And if any problem arises, get out of there. Quit. Okay? Leave. And that's why I said take action, as in start getting prepared. Go look for another job. Put in new applications somewhere else, because you can tell they acting funny with you. It's a matter of time before they try to get rid of you, or you about then had enough. And for that reason, God said take action. Go ahead and start putting out applications. And then bam, before they get on your last nerve, you already got a new job. And that's just what it is. And God is saying, stay ahead of it, because he does not want you to settle and go right back to where you started it. End up right back. And, for some of you, it's intended, but it's not intended. It's intended for a certain time frame, a certain time period. It's not intended to just, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like this is somebody that you keep going back, because it says the sun, it rises and then it sets and it comes back to rise again. God is saying this is somebody you've been going around in circles. You have been going around in circles. Baby, my hair is itching, but I don't want to scratch it. Oh, my head feel big right now, y'all. Baby, I got all these braids done in 2 days. But anywho, I just feel like God is saying, don't settle. Don't settle. Don't settle. Don't settle. Don't settle. Don't settle for mediocre. Don't settle for poor. Sort of like God said, piss poor. Don't settle for, oh, my bad, I meant to, but I didn't. Oops, that was an accident. Don't settle for, I'm not going to be able to do that today. Don't settle for, I wasn't able to answer because of this, that, and the third. And I didn't call you back because this, that, and the third. And don't settle for, you know what I'm saying? Don't settle for this. Don't settle for no boss that's going to be, you know what I'm saying, looking down on you and treating you funny and acting. Don't settle for it. God said do not settle. If you see problems arising in any area of your life, whatever it is you have going on, do not settle, do not bend, do not fold. God said stand 10 toes down on that and take action, regardless if you're getting a new job now. Maybe you need to step up your game with your job that you have. Maybe it's a situation where you need to find you a new person. Or maybe you very well need to be alone. It's okay to be alone. It's okay. Even though I do understand we want what we want. And I just feel like for whoever this is for, but God is saying don't allow, I think the way a lot of people end up heartbroken, myself included, is that instead of putting ourselves not above God, but not all the way at the bottom of our roster, we allow people to hurt us to an extent that they don't deserve to be able to even hurt us. I feel like I'm speaking on that part to somebody where you were crying over something that you shouldn't have even been concerned about it, let alone crying. Why were you crying about that though? God is saying you ain't even have no reason to be crying. That, you know what I'm saying? Crying for what? Some of us, we end up getting our hearts broken by people that we shouldn't have even fell in love with in the first place. Don't even know why you so sad. Don't even remember what their favorite color was. Don't even really remember what I'm sorry, I don't know who that's for, but this is somebody you don't even remember the little random thing. Like, you don't know, like, I just feel like this God is saying for some of y'all, your standards need to go up, okay? And you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people that always try to say that the church doesn't allow women to be themselves and they are not allowed to do certain things and they just have to do everything that their husband say. And it's like, yes, you should be obedient to your husband. That is a Christian value. However, it doesn't mean your husband is allowed to have 5 wives. It doesn't mean your husband is allowed to be out all night spending all of the rent money at a club or a bar, or just simply hanging out with his friends, or taking another woman out, or better yet, paying her bills. I just feel like it's just, don't settle. Do not settle. Do not settle. And if at any point you see a problem arising, handle that immediately. For some of y'all, you wouldn't even be in a situation that you in now in this point in your life if you would handle situations immediately. But because you allow it to drag on, it gets worse. That's just like if you notice that somebody, like you got a roommate and they dry beefing with you, you should nip that in the butt immediately. Don't allow it to carry on, because their resentment towards you is going to grow and they're going to start to hate every little thing about you. Sometimes it is good to have breaks from people. And it don't matter who they are. Sometimes it's a good thing. But I just feel like God is saying when it comes to it, for whoever this for, don't settle. Don't settle. Don't settle. And this is not saying that it's something bad about the person that you with. It's not saying that you are settling right now. Like, for some of y'all be thinking that God wants y'all to be with somebody that live in a castle by the sea, and God may actually want you to be with somebody that's like, at least they gonna be equally yoked with you. I'm not finna say that God is gonna send you, but God gonna send you somebody where y'all equally yoked. And that's just what it is. And so many people don't want to accept that, And I'm sorry. I'm not trying to even go on a rant here. This is not even a rant of myself. This is God. God said, stop that. Stop being so picky that you want somebody that is just impossible. It doesn't exist. God said for somebody, it doesn't exist. The man you're waiting for does not exist. And if he does exist, he already married. And that's just what it is. And I just feel like if it was intended for you to be with this person, you would be. And I don't know who that was for. I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm just being real. I'm just being real. But You know what I'm saying? I just feel like it's too many. Like, it's one thing for God to tell you that you're going to end up with somebody and them to date someone and then break up and y'all get married and ride off into the sunset, than for you to be looking at somebody else's husband and thinking to yourself, oh yeah, God is telling me that that's my man. God is telling me that's going to be my husband. Okay. But David was not allowed to touch Saul. Saul was actually intended to reign for longer. And I'm just saying this to say, like, long story short, it's like, it's a thin line. And I've said several times on my channel personally, God is not about to send you somebody else's husband. God is not about to send you a man that is married and trying to figure out something with his wife. Now, God may send you a man that is divorced. God may send you a man that his divorce is getting finalized, that going through divorce. But God is not going to send you a man that is intended to reconcile with his wife and or is with his wife. And I'm just being real. Like, even if it was a situation of God telling you that you will end up with this person, that does not mean that you should take the initiative to chase after a married man, because now you are an adulteress. And if it was really intended for you to be with that man, the marriage that he had going on with his wife would naturally take its course and break up for whatever reason that it broke up. But guess who they wouldn't be able to blame it on? You. However, if you decide that you're going to take initiative and chase after a man that's married, could you imagine? God said Jezebel. Could you imagine if Esther would have showed up to the palace while Vashti was sitting in her seat in the first, and still in bliss of new marriage with the king? She's sitting on his lap, and she's sitting on her throne, and you know what I'm saying? He's all in love with her, googly eyed towards her, and Esther slams the door open and comes in and says, hey, you're going to be my husband, and she needs to get off your lap, or she needs to stop this. She better not hand you not one more grape. Baby, could you imagine? God said some of y'all is tripping. Some of y'all is tripping. Some of y'all is tripping. A marriage is a blood covenant between two people, a man, a woman, and God. And it is not broken until someone breaks that. It is not broken until it is broken. And if you decide to to take it amongst yourself to go and break that up before it's run its course, then you could very well find yourself in the way of God's grace and mercy. Like, you can find yourself in a way of his wrath, receiving his wrath, not grace and mercy. Oh, Lord. You can find yourself receiving the wrath of God for doing that, though. You will literally put yourself in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Doing something like this here. And I'm not trying to drag this on any longer, because this video is long, baby. But I just feel like God is saying, for whoever, I don't know who this is, you didn't watch all the way to the end, baby. God said, stop, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? If you are intending to, I just feel like you got to think about what you want. If you want to be a wife, you want somebody to take you seriously, how you expect that to happen and you coming in while they got something else going on? You know they got something else going on and you still stay there. Where's your self-respect at? I'm just being real. Where's your self-respect at, that you would you would be okay with that? And it ain't a situation. See, some people, when they hear you just gonna allow him to keep going back and forth between y'all, that's the problem. Just even the idea that you would feel, if you are a man's mistress, what makes you feel like you have any kind of authority on what he is and is not gonna do? How you gonna tell him he can't talk to his wife? How you gonna tell him he can't go home to his wife? How you gonna tell him what him and his wife is gonna do? You are not included in that marriage. A, B, and C. And C is not you. It's God. That's it. Nobody else fits. I'm sorry. I'm just being real. There's nobody else that can be included. That's it. And just because you want to try to attach yourself, you know what I'm saying? You want to try to draw a line from him to you and attach yourself, does not mean that all of a sudden y'all in a triangle. God said, no, it's not a triangle, baby. Because when mess really hit the fan, they're not going to call you. When things really get crazy, you have no authority. And I just feel like when it comes down to it, God is saying, like, this is just, is you, like, even if you ignore all of the reasons, like the logical reasons, the godly reasons, even legal reasons, because in some states you can, in fact, sue a mistress or a mister. But, baby, I just feel like the biggest thing about this whole thing is, like, how it'll make you feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, how are your emotions able to even hold up being somebody's second best? You don't think that you need to be the first best? You don't think that it's somebody out there that truly loves you, that will give you 100%? Why are you trying to just siphon whatever you can get? Why are you not trying to get your 100%? Anywho, last but not least, message, don't settle. Even with that, don't settle. Yes, if you are single and you decide to go ahead and start dealing with someone who is married, you are settling. Why are you doing yourself that way? Why do you believe that you can't have your own man? And it's a difference between you not being able to have your own man because you got some crazy person that keep on trying to date the people that you date, and you not feeling like you're not able to have your own man because you insist on dating someone that already got somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's two completely different things. It's a difference between a man lying and saying that he's single and a man that is upfront and honest, and it's a difference. God said he take all this into account. And when it come down to it, you selling yourself short. That's the message. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Deuces.